What happens when a global superpower is hit with some of the harshest economic sanctions in history, yet continues its path undeterred? Russia's ongoing conflict with Ukraine has not only reshaped geopolitical alliances, but also tested the limits of economic sanctions as a tool of war. In this video, we are diving deep into why Western sanctions haven't crippled Russia as expected and what this means for the future of global power dynamics. If you are intrigued by how global economics and politics intertwine, make sure to like this video and share it with others who are interested in these critical issues. Economic sanctions have been used as a diplomatic tool for centuries, with roots tracking back to ancient Greece. They are designed to change a regime's behavior or incite internal dissent by imposing penalties. The use of sanctions scaled up significantly during the Napoleonic Wars, particularly through blockades. The modern concept of sanctions was solidified with the establishment of the League of Nations after World War I, which aimed to use sanctions as a peaceful alternative to war. However, the League's failure to prevent World War II exposed the limitation of this approach. In the post-World War II era, sanctions became a key tool in the United States' efforts to curb the influence of the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Through the measures like the Export Control Act of 1949, the US aimed to restrict strategic materials to the Soviet bloc, reflecting the ideological battle between capitalism and socialism. Sanctions allowed the US to leverage its economic power while avoiding the risks of direct military conflict, especially in an era dominated by nuclear threats. However, the complex global alliances and economic dependencies of the Cold War often undermined the effectiveness of these sanctions. Following the collapse of the Soviet Union, sanctions remained a prominent feature of US foreign policy, used extensively against countries like Iraq, Yugoslavia, and Zimbabwe. The 1990s saw an increased reliance on sanctions driven by the belief that economic coercion could address international security and humanitarian challenges without direct conflict. However, the humanitarian toll of comprehensive sanctions, such as those on Iraq, led to a shift towards more targeted measures. These smart sanctions aim to minimize societal harm by focusing on key sectors and leadership entities using the global dominance of the US dollar as leverage. In response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, Western allies imposed a broad array of sanctions on Russia. Financial sector selected Russian banks were banned from the SWIFT financial messaging system, freezing Russia's access to its foreign reserves and limiting its financial transactions. In energy sector, the US banned imports of Russian oil, gas, and other energy resources, with the EU following suit by banning Russian coal and restricting Russian vessels from EU ports. In technology and military, restrictions targeted Russia's technology sector and military-industrial network, aiming to cripple its war efforts. Sanctions have progressively aimed to close enforcement gaps and target entities aiding Russia's invasion strategies. These include measures to cap the price of Russian oil, limit Russia's access to financial services through foreign subsidiaries, and impose penalties on institutions assisting Russia's military network. Despite these comprehensive sanctions, Russia's economy showed surprising resilience, with a growth of 3.6% in 2023, raising questions about the overall efficacy of these measures. It's clear that sanctions are more complicated than just cutting off trade. What do you think? Are sanctions still an effective tool in modern geopolitics, or do we need a major rethink? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. Russia's strategy of ensuring its independence while fostering Western dependence centers on its natural advantage, energy exports. As a major producer of crude oil and natural gas, Russia had created a significant dependency in Europe, complicating Western efforts to sanction its energy sector without destabilizing their own economies. Although the EU aimed to reduce energy imports from Russia, uncertainties and higher energy prices inadvertently benefited Russia in the short term. Globalization has shifted economic power from the West to other regions, notably Asia. Today's global economic landscape is multipolar, with significant actors like China and India capable of undermining Western sanctions. China, a strategic ally of Russia, has increased its imports of Russian energy, supplied critical military technology, and facilitated trade in non-Western currencies. India has also significantly upped its intake of Russian oil, softening the blow of Western sanctions on Russia. Countries outside the West, including many in the Middle East, Latin America, and Africa, continue to trade with Russia, providing economic lifelines that prevent its isolation. Vladimir Putin's unwavering commitment to the war in Ukraine represents another critical factor: the determination gap. Unlike democratic leaders who face domestic political costs and pressures, Putin's autocratic grip on power allows him to pursue long-term strategies regardless of immediate economic and human costs. This determination is evident in the restructuring of Russia's economy towards military production, the acceptance of massive government deficits to fund the war, and the relentless military campaign despite heavy casualties. Putin's economic and military decisions highlight a readiness to incur significant short-term losses for his broader strategic goals. The future of Russia's invasion of Ukraine hinges on two key questions. What will happen if Russia's military overwhelms Ukraine's defenses, and what will be long-term economic cost to Russia? If Russia achieves a military victory, maintaining control over a hostile and partially annexed Ukraine would require substantial resources and long-term military engagement, further straining Russia's economy and military capacities. Russia's economy, currently focused on war production, faces significant long-term challenges. The ongoing exodus of young professionals, international pariah status, and diminished economic leverage will likely reduce its future growth potential. Continued dependence on China could lead to an unequal relationship, with Russia becoming the junior partner. The resilience of Russia in the face of extensive sanctions demonstrates the limitations of these measures when dealing with determined and resource-rich great powers. It also raises important questions about the future use and design of sanctions as an instrument of international policy. To be effective, sanctions must garner broader global support, be coupled with realistic and clear demands, and anticipate the potential for economic adaptability by targeted states. The story of Russia's economy under Western sanctions is a complex tale of resilience, strategic planning, and geopolitical shifts. While sanctions have certainly inflicted damage, they haven't succeeded in halting Russia's war efforts. As we continue to watch this conflict unfold, the lessons learned from Russia's defiance will shape future global economic policies and strategies. If you found this analysis insightful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any updates on these crucial global issues. Your engagement helps us bring you more in-depth discussions on the topics that matter most. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more analysis and the forces shaping our world.